on the air. On this program dedicated to the sparkling new romantic comedy, Love on the Run, you will hear the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Orchestra under the direction of Franz Waxman and the voices of Joan Crawford, Clark Gable, Pancho Tone. We bring you now an air preview of Love on the Run. When an American heiress marries a dollar-hunting prince, but when a Manhattan daughter of the rich leaves a continental nobleman stranded at the altar, that is news. That's just what Sally Parker did to Prince Igor at a fashionable wedding in a London church. And in her mad dash from the arms of the palpitating prince, Sally runs smack into the rescuing arms of Mike Anthony, London correspondent of a New York tabloid newspaper. In Sally's luxurious apartment following her escape from worse than death, we hear the voices of Joan Crawford and Clark Gable.
Who are you?
Who, me? Well, I just want to help you.
How much will that cost me? Or do you happen to be a reporter?
A reporter? Well, whatever gave you that idea? Well, if I were, do you think I'd want to come around and help you?
Then you must be from that Bleeny I nearly married. You go back and tell him
well,
that
I must admit it, Sally Parker. I'm just somebody that's known you and thought of you ever since I saw your picture in the Rotogravure section as a debutante. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Well, it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, well, I mean it. It seems that way to me, not really meeting you. Well, today I went to St. Gregory's to look at you for the last time, that's all. It was a sort of a silent goodbye.
You expect me to believe that?
No. I know it sounds a little Elsie Dinsmore, but it's true.
Oh, it's nice to know that someone else besides my board of directors and 9 million reporters really cares about what happens to me. But all my governesses and guardians never stop me from fighting my own battles, and I'll take care of this one, too. That's that dear, charming, attentive royal bread pudding. I'll tell him a thing or two.
No. Wait a minute. That might be reporters.
Reporters? Buzzards. All right, let them come up. I'll give them some real headlines for once. How Sally Parker found romance. So much down and so much for every kiss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd be pretty tired of all this cheap notoriety.
Tired? Tired? I'm sick to my stomach of reporters. I've been blinded by their flashlights ever since I can remember. They put my Impacted Wisdom tooth on the front page. This ought to make newspaper history.
Sorry, my dear. I see this.
So it's Igor, is it? You'd like to hear some more, would you?
Parker, wait. He may not be alone.
Darling, my baby love. My baby love.
Don't you baby love me and don't you touch me.
She means it, Your Excellency.
But my darling, what did I say? What did I do?
You scurrilous little scavenger.
But my sweet one, I'm not at advantage. Have I met this gentleman?
Don't be silly. Where would you ever meet a gentleman?
My little treasure. I mean my baby love. We are discreet. Think. We don't know each other.
No. Never had the pleasure, I'm sure.
I'm positive your face is...
I warn you, if you continue to foul the air, I breathe out.
But my darling, well, why are you angry? My uncle only asked you to sign a little paper to insure our health.
I don't want any insurance. I'm canceling my order, and they can put you back in Macy's window.
Yes, $5 million is hardly a bargain, Your Excellency.
It was not 5 million. Only 3.
Oh. What? How much?
3 million. 3 million only. And my darling becomes the princess. We met in Berlin, yes?
No, I'm sorry, old man.
My darling, come back to the cathedral, then to my people, to my country.
Your country. Your people. A lot of second-hand sturgeon looking for a river to lay an egg in.
Oh, no. Now, really, Miss Parker. Now, look, there's a charming little state. Rather financially unsound, I must admit, but a member of the League of Nations.
The League! Aha, now I know him. In Geneva it was. But, darling, do you realize who this man is? He's...
Well, here they come. What next?
Oh, I don't know. Everything's worse than ever now.
There'll be police. I hit him pretty hard.
Oh, I've got to get away now. I'm all weak inside. You said you'd help me, will you?
Look, would you like to get away from this alone? Away from everything and people where nobody can reach you?
Oh, yes. How?
Where you'll have peace and quiet? No cousins, no aunts, no uncles, no princes, no reporters until all this blows over?
Oh, I've wanted that all my life.
Will you trust me, Sally Parker?
Can I?
Where's the back way?
Here, come on.
And so we're halted temporarily, the aspirations of an aspiring prince. And now it's love on the run. Mike, with Sally in tow, scrams from the scene of the crime and takes off for France in a plane stolen from a cloud-busting baron. High above the English Channel, we hear Sally and Mike talking it over.
You don't suppose you killed him, do you?
Who? Killed what?
Igor?
Oh, no. Anyway, all stakes lift till sundown. Now, you stop worrying and look around for some peace and quiet to land in.
How fast are we going?
Well, we're either up 2,100 feet and going 175 miles an hour, or we're up 175 feet and going 2,100 miles an hour.
Whimsical little airplane, isn't it?
I wonder where we are. Get out those maps, Edward.
What color is it down there?
Oh, it's sort of a pinkish brown.
Pinkish brown. We're over Persia.
Well, let me see if I can find France. If I remember correctly, it's a kind of a green. Hey, do you realize what a story this will make?
What do you mean, story?
What a story it'll make to tell our grandchildren. Hey, we're tied up in intrigue.
But I don't want to be tied up in anything.
But we're international. We stumbled onto
I don't want to be international. I just want things to stop happening to me.
Oh, don't worry. I'll handle this when the time comes. Nothing else is going to happen to you. Except that...
Except what?
Except that we're out of gas and we're almost down.
Well, then nothing more can happen to either of us.
Well, you better hold tight. Here we go. Don't hold it!
But Mike makes it. And after a happy landing on the continent, Sally, now a fugitive from her fortune-snatching prince, and Mike, a fugitive from an irritated baron, find refuge in an inn near Nice. On a moon-bathed balcony, we discover Sally and Mike.
London, married settlements, unpleasant people. They all seem very far away right now. Oh, I always knew someday about somebody like you. You know, I've known people I've liked and some I've disliked. I've hated a few and thought I loved a couple, but I've never known anyone I could trust up to now.
Look, Sally, a fellow has to make a living, understand?
Such a nice living. Two can live happier than one.
Well, it isn't that exactly, but... Well, I've had a job all my life.
I knew you did something. What?
Well, I'm a writer.
How wonderful, darling. What do you write about?
Oh, I write about people. You know, things.
What sort of things? Have I read them? I want to learn everything you've ever written by heart.
Well, Sally, I might as well admit it.
What?
That I'm about to crucify myself. But you've suddenly turned out to be the only girl this side of the moon. Oh, let's skip anything else.
Everything else.
Sally and Mike probably would have lived happily ever after if it hadn't been for one little thing. Mike, constantly aware of Sally's hatred for all newspaper men, dodges telling her he is a news hawk. He further overlooks telling her that daily he is cabling stories to his paper, revealing every intimate detail of her flight from Prince Igor. This was not the right thing for Mike to do, as he discovers one morning at breakfast when Sally spies a headline broadcasting to the world stories of their romantic rendezvous. With this evidence, Sally turns all of her guns on the very much confused Mike.
I tried to tell you last night.
Well, you incredibly
Clara, just
unthinkable. You sheer unadulterated worm.
Go ahead. I deserve it. All the adjectives.
Sally confides dreams to Anthony. Now, you're something that flies out of a job and they take the lid off.
Sally, I don't know anything about that contest, and I'll make them kill it.
Isn't that cute? Little Michael pulling wings off grasshoppers. The only girl this side of the moon. And I believed you.
I tried to tell you last night, but I couldn't. I loved you too much. You don't know what last night meant to me.
How can I tell what last night meant to you until I see the next issue of the Chronicle? Not more than 500 words and write on only one side of the paper. Mr. Anthony will write on the back. He writes on the backs of bonds. Well, what are you waiting for? There must be a cable office around here somewhere. Aren't you afraid you'll miss the next edition?
Sally is displeased, but she was soon to find out about Mike anyway. For whom should pop up but the much-scooped Barney Pells in the person of Fran Chotone, correspondent of a rival New York newspaper, who spills the works about Mike to Sally. Now Mike is in the doghouse. Sally turns to Barney, and together they plot revenge. Sally will give Barney bigger and better headlines for his newspaper, and Mike will lose his job. We now find Sally and Barney in the compartment of a continental train, discussing Mike's fate.
You're a reporter, aren't you, Barney?
Me? No, listen, Miss Parker, if this Anthony guy's been handing you a lot of silly stuff about...
It goes pretty hard with one reporter if he loses his story to another reporter, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
All right, then if you're not a reporter, go find me one, because he's going to have me for his own personal scoop.
Miss Parker, I'm no mere reporter. I'm the best correspondent in Europe.
You write good stories?
The best. All the news that's fit to print. The New York Times kind.
I don't want that kind. You can print anything about me. What I eat for breakfast, how I take a bath, anything that'll make Mr. Michael Anthony squirm. Things about him, things about me. Do you understand?
Parker, baby, you call the shots and I'll pull the trigger.
When do you send your first cable? And Anthony, when does he get fired?
A day or two, right out on his ear.
Suppose he'll get a job on another newspaper.
Him? He'll be blacklisted. Through.
Oh, wonderful. Can he do anything else?
Nothing that won't land him in jail.
I suppose he'll get on relief.
He might, for a few days, but that's all. They're fussy about who gets relief.
I hope he gets kicked off the breadline, too.
It's kind of strange to think of him being down and out. Always so sure of himself, Mike was. That's the way it starts around New York, though. I've seen hundreds of them. First they borrow a 10 spot, then a buck, then 25 cents for donuts and coffee. And then it's a shirt. They tell you they got a swell job doing publicity, and one night you stumble over them in the park, wrapped up in an old Sunday edition to keep out the cold. Well, Mike won't get that low, I don't think. There's a way out for real men. And Mike's a real man.
Oh, Barney, stop it. Poor Michael.
Mike on the run. Sally on the run. Barney on the run. Love on the run. Will Mike regain Sally's affections? Or is it Barney that now rules Sally's heart? Fun plays tag with romance, as this gay threesome play hide-and-go-seek from one play spot to another in Europe. In the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer romantic comedy, Love on the Run. Based on the bright and exciting Cosmopolitan magazine story, and directed by your favorite maker of hits, W.S. Van Dyke. On this program, you have heard Joan Crawford, Clark Gable, Fran Chotone, and the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Symphonic Orchestra, under the direction of Franz Waxman.